If anyone holds the inside scoop on those who backed Diddy, it's Aubrey. There was talk she might step forward as a witness, but she later made it clear she would not. Still, that does not mean she's staying silent. She continues to speak, out online, and her latest target is Beyoncé. For some time now, Beyoncé has been under intense scrutiny, with whispers swirling that Diddy was involved with her personally, and that both she and Jay-Z helped shield him from accountability. But the last thing we thought was for Aubrey O'Day of all people to also step in the chat and expose her. When this Diddy saga just keeps unfolding, and trust me, it's far from over. From the very beginning, Aubrey O'Day has been on Diddy's case. She first came into the spotlight as part of the girl group Diddy Kane, which was signed to Diddy's notorious Bad Boy Entertainment, a label that many have called fraudulent. Diddy Kane consisted of 5 members: Andrea Fembers, Dee Woods, Shannon Bex, Dawn Richard, and Aubrey O'Day herself. Rumor has it Diddy was manipulating the group behind the scenes. At first, the girls were thrilled to be signed by someone as influential as Diddy, convinced he would launch their careers to new heights. But reality hit quickly, and they soon realized that success wasn't coming their way. What really made waves was that, despite Diddy's mistreatment, sometimes even humiliating them on national television, Aubrey was the only one who dared to push back. When asked about her stance, Aubrey explained that she wasn't just focused on herself, but on the group's image and how she fit into the bigger picture. She wasn't about flashy appearances or big hair and heavy makeup. Her priority was singing. And being part of the group, Aubrey revealed that Diddy deliberately sowed discord among the members, pitting them against one another to create misunderstandings. This tactic, she said, was his way of maintaining tighter control over the group, keeping them divided and easier to manage. Aubrey opened up about how Diddy would harshly body shame the girls whenever they gained a bit of weight, or simply changed their hairstyle, things any normal person might do without judgment. He treated them like puppets, controlling every detail of their lives. And naturally, Aubrey was the only one brave enough to push back. She explained, "There were plenty of reasons someone would want to fire me. I wasn't willing to do what was expected, not in terms of talent, but in other ways. When you're that young, it's tough to understand your worth as a woman, especially around the men I was with. It was deeply traumatic, and honestly, I don't think any of us have fully healed from it." Diddy would often say things like, "You're not hot anymore. What happened? You don't have curves. You don't look like the girl I want people to see." This was before the Me Too movement existed. There was no protection, no support. Aubrey revealed they had to sign countless NDAs and contracts that stripped away all their rights. She also shared that Diddy pressured the girls into participating in freak-off activities against their will and subjected them to harsh verbal and psychological abuse when they refused. Even Diddy's former bodyguard, John Dahl, claimed he overheard Diddy boasting about sending the girls to his associates so they could do whatever they wanted with them. John recalled, "I heard him say in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him, then walked out. He said, 'I'm gonna send them out to my guys to have their way with them.' I was shocked, and it wasn't just me who heard it. It wasn't just me who heard those disturbing things. There's someone else who was in the studio that day, and I still keep in touch with him. We were actually talking about it recently. He never moved back to Indiana, which I still don't understand, but that's a story for another time. Diddy said he was going to send them all out, and honestly, things only get more shocking from here." In an attempt to get ahead of Cassie's lawsuits, Diddy reportedly started pushing NDAs on his former artists, including the Diddy Kane girls. The deal? Sign away your publishing rights to your own music, rights he's hoarded for decades, cashing in millions while they barely saw a dime. But Aubrey, ever the savvy one, convinced her group not to sign these contracts. The truth was, those songs no longer pulled big streams or sales, so giving up publishing rights wouldn't bring much money anyway. Diddy knew Cassie's lawsuit could open the floodgates, and he tried to cover his tracks by forcing NDAs down their throats. Aubrey sensed something major was brewing, so she urged the girls to hold off. "I had to release him from any claims or wrongdoings before the date of the release," she explained. "I had to sign an NDA promising never to speak badly about Puff Daddy, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, Justin Combs, or any of the labels involved." She only got this NDA offer recently, just months ago when Diddy ramped up his damage control. Some artists are now getting back streaming royalties and ownership of publishing on their songs, but in today's streaming world, you need millions of plays just to earn pennies. Aubrey reached out to all her group mates and told them, "Absolutely do not take this deal. I can get us a Hulu show instead." Even Diddy's former bodyguard, Jean Dowell, confirmed the Danity Kane members were the only ones who refused to sign. Everyone else complied. Thanks to Aubrey spotting something fishy, the group held their ground. So yes, Diddy made many of his artists and associates sign NDAs. Nowadays, in the internet age, NDAs are a common tool across the industry to keep business hush-hush, especially among rappers and industry insiders. If you worked with them or were even close, you were legally bound to keep everything hush-hush. That's exactly the kind of deal Diddy handed out when returning publishing rights to his artists. Here's your music back, but don't you dare mention Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything related. It was a strict gag order. Yet, some artists refused to sign these NDAs, which freed them to speak openly. I believe a few from Danity Kane were among those who kept their voices. And trust me, they might be next in line to go after Diddy legally. Remember that awkward apology video Diddy released after footage surfaced showing him physically attacking Cassie in a hotel? Aubrey was one of the first to call out that so-called apology as fake. She exposed how Diddy's statement was really an attack disguised as remorse. He didn't apologize to Cassie personally. Instead, he apologized to the public for seeing what he did. He claimed disgust with himself, but still called Cassie a liar and denied the abuse. No divine mercy or grace played a part there, and Aubrey made sure everyone knew it. But she is far from finished. Word on the street is that Aubrey is now setting her sights on Beyoncé, and she's coming hard. When it comes to Beyoncé and Diddy, there has always been gossip swirling, but no one expected Aubrey to jump in on that drama. Back when Diddy discovered Aubrey and her group on the MTV show Making the Band, there was another group called The Ban who also suffered mistreatment. But this time, it wasn't from Diddy. It was Beyoncé calling the shots. One of the members, Freddie P., spilled some serious tea recently. Back in the day, Diddy forced the girls to walk all the way downtown to fetch him a cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory on foot. This wasn't for Diddy himself, though. Beyoncé had instructed Diddy to make them walk instead of driving. No, one knows exactly where in New York they were, but that walk was about 4 hours long. And the cheesecake was for Beyoncé. This was one of the earliest signs that Diddy's behavior was seriously off. Yet at the time, people brushed it off. Even found it amusing, claiming it was tough love to build strong artists because the music industry is not for the weak. Only recently, Freddie P finally revealed the truth. That cheesecake run was not for Diddy. It was for Beyoncé. वो cheesecake वाला ड्रामा बिल्कुल सब कुछ बदल कर रख देता है, जो हम पहले सोचते थे कि डिडी सिर्फ अपने मजाक और कंट्रोल के लिए उन लैड्स को परेशान कर रहा था। लेकिन असली कहानी ये है कि चीज़केक एक्चुअली बियॉन्से के लिए था, और वो अपनी टीम में से किसी को भेजने के बजाय बियॉन्से ने डिडी को ही कहा कि वो बैंड के मेंबर्स को चीज़केक लेने के लिए चलने दे। मतलब वो उनको घंटों तक चलने पर मजबूर करता रहा और ये सब नेशनल टेलीविजन पे दिखाया, गाया। ये सिर्फ एक छोटी सी बात नहीं थी, बल्कि एक ऐसी ह्यूमिलिएटिंग सिचुएशन थी जो लोगों ने पहले कभी समझी ही नहीं थी। फ्रेडी पी ने इस बारे में अपनी बात शेयर की, जिसमें उन्होंने ये रिवील किया कि अक्सर लोगों को पता नहीं था कि वो चीज़केक बियॉन्से के लिए था, जो पूरा वक्त ऊपर से उनको देख रही थी। ये बात सुनकर लोग हैरान रह गए, क्योंकि उन्होंने सोचा था कि ये डिडी का अपना ही मजाक था या वो अपनी ही सेटिस्फैक्शन के लिए कर रहा था। फ्रेडी ने कहा कि वो डिडी की बातों को बिल्कुल लिटरल लेते हैं। अगर डिडी कहता है वॉक टू गेट चीज़ केक, तो वो चल कर ले आते हैं, मगर वो वापस चल के नहीं आते। इसी वजह से फ्रेडी और दालो ने वापस होटल में रिलैक्स करना शुरू कर दिया, क्योंकि उन्होंने सोचा था कि उनको वापस चलने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, जब तक डिडी उनको एक्सप्लिसिटली नहीं कहता। ये एक तरह का छुपा हुआ प्रोटेस्ट था। उन्होंने बस उतना ही किया जितना डिडी ने कहा था, और ज़्यादा नहीं। इसके बाद जब डिडी होटल पहुंचा, तो फ्रेडी और दालोन वहां मौजूद थे। उन्होंने बताया कि पहली बात जो डिडी ने बोली वो ये थी कि चीज़केक बियॉन्से के लिए है और उसको ऊपर ले जाना है। बाकी लोग उन दोनों के बारे में स्निच कर रहे थे कि वो वापस क्यों नहीं आए, मगर डिडी ने बिल्कुल क्लियर कर दिया कि उनको वापस चलने को नहीं कहा गया था। ये पूरा वाकया एक ऐसे सीन की तरफ इशारा करता है जहां पावर डायनामिक्स और अथॉरिटी की वजह से लोगों को बेइज्जती सहनी पड़ती है और वो अपनी बाउंड्रीज को इतनी स्मूथली क्रॉस कर देते हैं कि शायद वो खुद भी उसकी गहराई को समझ नहीं पाते। जो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात है वो ये कि बियॉन्से ने पूरा सीन सिर्फ ऊपर से ऑब्जर्व किया और अपने आसपास के लोगों को ये काम करने दिया। ये एक क्लासिक एग्जाम्पल है कि कैसे इंडस्ट्री के बड़े लोग अपने इन्फ्लुएंस का इस्तेमाल करते हैं दूसरों को नीच दिखाने के लिए, जबकि खुद अपनी तरफ से कोई जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेते। इस तरह का बिहेवियर सिर्फ एक मजाक नहीं होता, यह एक पावर प्ले होता है जो उनकी अथॉरिटी को साबित करता है। और यही वजह है कि इंडस्ट्री में इतने सारे लोग अपने आप को मजबूर महसूस करते हैं। इस कहानी में फ्रेडी पी की ऑनेस्टी और क्लैरिटी भी सामने आती है, जो यह बताता है कि लोग कितने दिल से इस इंडस्ट्री में अपनी इज्जत और हक के लिए लड़ते हैं। जब उन्होंने अपनी बात कही कि वो डिडी की बात को लिटरल समझते हैं, तो वो अपनी एक तरह की सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट और लिमिट भी सेट कर रहे थे। ये दिखाता है कि चाहे सिचुएशन कितनी भी टफ क्यों ना हो, लोग अपने लिए बाउंड्रीज तय करते हैं और अपनी इज्जत बचाने की कोशिश करते हैं। इस वाकया ने हमें ये भी सिखाया कि कभी कभी जो चीज़ें हमें छोटी और इनसिग्निफिकेंट लगती हैं, उनके पीछे बड़े पॉलिटिकल और इमोशनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स छुपे होते हैं। बियॉन्से का ये स्टेप सिर्फ एक डिजर्ट ऑर्डर करने से ज़्यादा था। ये एक सिंबॉलिक एक्शन था जो पावर का डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन करता था। और जब ये सब नेशनल टीवी पे दिखाया गया तो लोगों ने उसको सिर्फ एक फनी या ऑकवर्ड मोमेंट समझा, मगर असल में ये एक स्ट्रैटेजी थी जो उन लोगों की पोजीशन को मजबूत बनाती थी जो इंडस्ट्री में कंट्रोल रखते हैं। इस कहानी से एक और लेसन भी मिलता है कि हम कभी भी किसी सेलिब्रिटी या पावरफुल इंसान के पीछे के असली हाल को पूरी तरह नहीं जान सकते जब तक उनके करीबी लोग अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर न करें। फ्रेडी पी की बात सुनकर हमें पता चलता है कि जो कुछ हम टीवी पर देखते हैं उसके पीछे कितने कॉम्प्लेक्स और कभी कभी दर्दनाक हाल होते हैं, और ये भी कि किस तरह से लोग अपनी लाइफ में छोटी छोटी रेजिस्टेंस दिखाते हैं। जैसे फ्रेडी और दालोन ने की सिर्फ उतना ही करते हैं जितना कहा गया, बाकी नहीं। आखिर में ये चीज केक वाला ड्रामा सिर्फ एक फनी स्टोरी नहीं बल्कि एक गहरी तस्वीर है पावर डायनामिक्स, कंट्रोल और रिस्पेक्ट की जो म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री के अंदर छुपी फी है। ये हमें दिखाता है कि छोटी छोटी चीज़ें भी कभी कभी बहुत बड़े मसाइल की तरफ इशारा करती हैं, और जब हम इन स्टोरीज को समझते हैं तो हम उस इंडस्ट्री के असली चेहरे को बेहतर समझ पाते हैं। When Diddy finally came out, the first thing he said was, "What, y'all got a cheesecake?" Then he told them to take it upstairs for Beyoncé. When someone tried to snitch that Freddie and Dalen didn't walk back, Diddy just said, "I didn't tell y'all to walk back." The whole scene was wild. At first, people were shocked Diddy would go so far for Beyoncé. Then a video of Baby, Lil Baby, went viral, where he shared the story of meeting Beyoncé and Jay-Z during a private party at Diddy's place. According to him, Diddy kicked everyone else out of the room, leaving just Beyoncé, Jay-Z, the Baby, and himself, making it clear how serious and close that circle really is. Whoa, that story just keeps getting crazier. So once it was just the Baby, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy in that room, Beyoncé actually started talking to the Baby a lot and even introduced herself. Like, come on. Of course he knows who Beyoncé is. No need for the formalities. But according to Jaguar, this was more than just a casual meet and greet. It was a freak-off meeting. Apparently, Beyoncé was trying to seduce the Baby for some hood D because Jay-Z was allegedly not putting in the work anymore, being a little old and all. The Baby shared that this all happened at a party at Diddy's crib in LA at the start of 2020. Diddy kicked most people out but kept a select few close, including the Baby. He said Diddy had taken a liking to him, putting his arm around him, keeping him in the inner circle with about 15 others, including Jay-Z. Then things got even more heated when Aubrey started calling out Beyoncé and Jay-Z. She claimed Beyoncé was doing all this with Diddy behind Jay-Z's back, even though Jay supposedly introduced them at first. Apparently, the whole situation got messy once Beyoncé and Diddy started secretly working together, and that's when the drama exploded. People are already speculating wildly. Some are saying there's no way Beyoncé and Jay-Z can stay clean from Diddy's legal mess, wondering if they might face charges too. Honestly, with all these wild claims flying around, it feels like this whole saga is just going to get more tangled and explosive from here. Wow. This just keeps getting deeper and darker. So not only Diddy, but a lot of other high-profile people around him are allegedly involved in some truly disturbing actions against young women and men, even underage victims. People are really hoping these brave survivors finally get justice. Then, there's talk about Beyoncé being out on tour, not for the money, but to promote a positive image for her family and kids. Meanwhile, the man she married, Jay-Z, has been interfering with her concerts, and now she's having to handle things solo. The implication is that she might have a story similar to Cassie's, which just adds another layer of complexity and pain to the whole situation. As for Aubrey exposing Beyoncé, that is huge. If Aubrey really witnessed or heard about these things between Diddy and Beyoncé, it would shake up a lot of assumptions about the industry and those involved. But, as with all rumors and claims, it's important to stay cautious and not jump to conclusions without solid proof. What do you think? Do you believe Aubrey saw this all go down? Or is this just another wild rumor in the music world? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them below.